Number 10. Tibetan Kapala Skulls. Tibetan Kapala skulls are some of the creepiest archaeological relics anywhere in the world. These bizarre skulls were used as bowls or vessels in rituals for both Hindus and Buddhists. Each skull was carved with decorative designs and usually embedded with jewels. And yes, they were made from real human skulls, usually collected from burial sites. But they weren't taken from any ordinary burial sites. It was, and still is, a Tibetan burial custom to chop up the bodies of the dead and then scatter their remains over the mountain plains. These are called sky burials, and it is where the Kapala skulls would be pillaged from. These skulls were used in Tibetan monasteries, usually to hold wine and bread, which symbolized flesh and blood in rituals. The bread would be shaped to look like human eyes and ears before being eaten out of the skull. And although these things were normally used for ordinary spiritual purposes, some people used them for the dark arts. Sometimes, a kapala was fashioned from the skull of a murder victim or someone who was sacrificed. These would then be used in dark rituals because it was believed the skull of someone who died violently possessed more power. Number 9. The arm of Saint John the Baptist. There is a creepy relic being kept in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, said to be the right arm of John the Baptist. The arm was apparently transported from Antioch to Constantinople in the year 956 by Emperor Constantine VII. It was brought to the Church of the Virgin of the Lighthouse and kept in the treasury. The arm was seized by the Ottomans in 1453 when they conquered the city, but then in 1585 it was returned by Sultan Murad III. It remained in Topkapi Palace ever since. The arm, although it may look like the arm of a robot, is indeed the arm of a skeleton encased inside of a gold-embellished silver reliquary. But just where did the arm come from in the first place? According to written history, it was Luke the Evangelist who went to the place of John's burial and took the right arm himself. This is because John's right arm was the one that baptized Jesus. The actual arm that performed Jesus' baptism is obviously considered to be one of the holiest relics in the world. There's been no scientific proof that the arm does indeed belong to anyone named John the Baptist, the fabled man who defied King Herod and was beheaded for it. But still, the arm has been spoken of in the historical texts for nearly 2,000 years. It could very well be the real deal, though it's definitely creepy. Number 8. The Family Cat. An urban explorer was shocked when he went to investigate an abandoned house that had been left to rot and discovered a creepy doll and the skeleton of an old cat. This happened in Scotland, and the house was probably abandoned sometime in the early 1970s. It was found by a guy named Adam Mark, who thought it would be a good idea to go exploring through the house's decaying rooms. The place definitely seemed like it could be haunted, and he reported that he felt the sense he wasn't alone while he went from room to room. He found the house in the same state it was when whoever had owned it packed up and left. Except they didn't really pack up anything at all. All the creepy antiques were still on the mantels. The cupboards were filled with antique dishes and tea sets. And they even had forgotten their cat. Adam found the forgotten feline mummified on the floor. There was even a creepy doll with its eyes missing, just sitting in a chair and seemingly staring at something outside the window. He described the atmosphere as dark and extremely eerie. And to make things even creepier, Adam claims that he found police tape outside the house, suggesting it may have been the scene of some kind of terrifying crime. Hey, Adam, I think it's called trespassing. Number 7. Ritual beheading. Recent evidence has uncovered what might just be the oldest case of ritual beheading anywhere in the Americas. A decapitated human was discovered inside a rock shelter in Brazil. After dating the skeletal remains, scientists learned the person had their head cut off somewhere between 9,100 and 9,400 years ago. But they didn't just get their head cut off, as the ancient person was also found with the right hand amputated and pressed against the left side of their face. This is an obvious sign of ritualistic activity, though nobody can really say what the unusual ritual detailed or what its exact purpose was. The discovery keeps getting worse and worse. Scientists learned that the man was decapitated by a series of painful blows from a sharp instrument hitting him in the neck. But evidence also showed that his head was twisted in some places, meaning whoever was trying to cut it off had to twist it around a bunch, like ripping the head off a doll. Ouch! It's now clear that almost 10,000 years ago, during the Neolithic period, The barbaric tribes throughout America had a fascination with rituals and were inclined to decapitate people. Number 6. The Headless Man. A woman discovered the creepiest photo ever hidden in a room in her house. This happened back in January of this year, when the woman and her husband found a secret room inside the house they had just recently moved into. They were taking down layers of wallpaper stacked on top of one another when they found the entrance to the creepy room, which had no windows and was completely dark. It was within this room that the woman found a black and white photograph showing a young boy sitting in front of a garage inside a toy car. This itself isn't all that weird. The creepy part is what's behind the little boy. Standing a few feet back was a headless man in a white jacket. His arms hang casually by his sides. He has absolutely no head, and he looks like a monster from a horror movie. It's unlikely that the person in the photo was really missing their head though. They probably used some kind of light trick to make them look headless in the photo. They then maybe placed the photo in the secret room because they knew it would scare the pants off of whoever found it. Either that, or the people who had lived in the house before really were a bunch of creeps, perhaps dabbling in some evil dark magic. The question here is, if the headless man in the photo was intentional, why? Why do you think? Let us know in the comment section down below. And if you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 5. Giant Cave Spider. A creepy new species of spider has been discovered in a Mexican cave. Scientists say the spider is about the size of a softball. Yikes. Even if you're not an arachnophobe, you have to appreciate the horror of a spider that's about the size of your fist. Did you just hold your fist up to compare size? Yikes again. It was found by researchers working with the San Diego Natural History Museum. Jim Berrien and his team discovered this freaky arachnid while exploring the mountains of Baja California Sur. When they went deep into the cave, they found a massive exoskeleton suspended from the ceiling. They realized the cave was probably full of all kinds of spooky critters, so they went back at night and began hunting for spiders in the darkness. They've called this new species the Sierra Cacachilas wandering spider. Maria Jimenez, a local spider expert, said that she was impressed with how big the spider is, going on to say that in all her years studying spiders in Baja California, she had never seen one so large. The body is about an inch long, and the legs are about 4 inches across. About 24 of these 8-legged creepy crawlies were found inside the cave, suggesting that the species must have evolved only within its confines, never expanding into the world outside. And this is good news because the spider is absolutely terrifying. It's not fatal if it bites you, but it's still pretty freaky. Someone should check to see if a bite from the newly discovered spider gives you Spider-Man powers. Number 4. Haunted Hotel. An extremely creepy discovery has been made in a Texas salon when a woman discovered a secret door that led to a haunted hotel behind a mirror. According to the original story, the woman had experienced a nightmare in which there was a secret door behind a mirror in her salon. And so, when she went into work the next day, she decided to investigate. Much to her dismay, there really was a secret door when she removed the mirror. The portal had been filled up and blocked with concrete from the other side, but the door was definitely there. Here's where things get extra creepy. The salon is attached to the infamously haunted Rogers Hotel, which was built in the early 1800s and then remodeled in 1912. As part of the remodeling, the door was likely sealed leading into the salon. At one point, the two were connected, though nobody can say why. As for why the Rogers Hotel is haunted, local legend says that there have been several deaths in the hotel, including the daughter of Rogers himself, who allegedly drowned in a pool in the basement. People who visit the hotel sometimes claim to see bottles of water across the floor, and sometimes even the silhouette of a wet child. Do you think it's a coincidence that this Texas woman had a nightmare about the secret door only to discover it truly existed? Do you think something sinister provoked her to check? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Number 3. Shipwreck Skeleton. In 1984, underwater archaeologist Barry Clifford stumbled upon the wreckage of the Whydah Galley, the only verified pirate shipwreck from the Golden Age of piracy ever discovered. The Golden Age of piracy lasted between 1650 and 1720. At the time, archaeologists were able to bring to the surface a whole heap of interesting artifacts from the vessel. However, it wasn't until recently that they found 6 skeletons trapped inside the underwater wreckage. The Whydah galley was stolen by Sam Bellamy, a pirate who arrived in Cape Cod back in 1715 and set off in his pirate ship looking for treasure. He managed to take over 53 ships throughout his life as a pirate, becoming one of the wealthiest raiders of the sea in history. However, after capturing the Whydah, Bellamy's luck ran out. In April of 1717, the ship became enveloped in a blanket of thick fog off the coast of Massachusetts, hit a sandbar, and sank. Only 6 out of the 144 crew members survived, and the ship was lost for over 260 years. Since its discovery, at least 200,000 pieces of artifacts have been excavated. The most recent discovery of the creepy bones has proved quite fascinating, as one of the leg bones is speculated to belong to the pirate captain himself. Number 2. Bog Bodies. 2,400 years ago, a man was buried in a bog. We don't know his name or why exactly he was buried, but we do know he was between 30 and 40 years old, and that the acidic peat of the bog mummified his body to perfection. His hair, brain, and fingernails have all been perfectly preserved. Even the noose was still stuck around his neck. He was obviously hanged, but scientists have no idea as to why. This particular bog body is nicknamed the Headless Man, and he was found in Denmark back in the 1950s. In 2021, scientists finally did a bit of dissecting on the Bog Man to discover what he ate for his last meal. They found that he ate porridge made from barley, flax, and plant seeds before being hung and then tossed into the bog. What's strange about this is the fact that he had seeds in his porridge. Seeds were not typically part of the Iron Age diet, suggesting whoever killed this guy had given him a special meal with special ingredients, perhaps as some kind of mysterious human sacrifice ritual. He's currently on display at the Silkeborg Museum. Number 1. Ancient Stone Mask. A very creepy stone mask was recently unveiled by the Israel Antiquities Authority. The mask dates back to the Neolithic period, about 9,000 years ago. It's incredibly rare, crafted from stone, and nobody knows where it was originally found. The mask was actually recovered by an antiquities theft prevention unit back in 2018. Nobody knows where the person who acquired it got it from originally, leaving this artifact a total mystery. The mask looks oddly like the creepy mask that Jim Carrey wore in the movie The Mask, though this one probably doesn't have any magical powers. 4 holes were found drilled along its perimeter, likely used to tie it to a person's face. Why anyone would wear such a horrifying thing is beyond reason. But then again, this was nearly 10 millennia ago. The mask has eye holes, a small slit for breathing, and even teeth traced around the mouth. It definitely has something to do with a creepy prehistoric ritual, but scientists can't say for sure. Nothing else like it has ever been found. Thanks for watching. Which one of these discoveries creeped you out the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and come back again for another awesome video. See you next time. Bye.